Today, this is a West India design company, and we're bringing a new area for users to see, which is called the creative process. So today, I'm interviewing Professor Kinney, and he is the main inspiration for all of the web design that I do, the web development, and everything that I've done so far. And it's a pleasure to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
And basically, I just want to know, what is your creative process when it comes to web design and web development?
I throw it against the wall and see what sticks. No, I'm just kidding. I don't really do that. It's interesting. There's the creative process has a lot of different components to it. And one of the things that fascinates me about interactive design is that you have traditional graphic design concept development, you have human-computer interaction, you have the psychological sort of domain that users get affected by things, which creates user experience, right? So you kind of have to harness all these things together to figure out how to get people to do things. And so we'll say, for instance, like somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want you to do a website for my grocery store, right? Which I kind of like, you probably know this about me. Like, one of the things I think about design is I think everybody deserves high quality design, not just people with a lot of money. And so I kind of see myself, there's lots of people out there who do, Craftsman, DeWalt, Home Depot, all those kind of things, Fortune 500 companies. They can throw money at anything, right, and solve any problem. It's when you get to smaller businesses that you really have the real problems in interactive design. Because generally they can't afford to have somebody do the kind of sort of legwork you have to do when you're working on something much bigger. And so one of the things I do is I see a market that exists that a lot of people just ignore. And I know that those people are really appreciative of things. And so when somebody like that comes to me, then one of the first things I'll do is I'll say, well, I need to come to your business. I want to see what you do. Because I want to see what it is that you think you're missing from your business right now that you're trying to solve with this new interactive domain. Now, sometimes it's, somebody doesn't see anything missing from their business. They see promotion missing, like connecting to Facebook friends and customers in that way, or getting, people tweeting, or, promoting customer reviews on Yelp, where people are looking for social engagement. And so when I go see somebody, I'm not just going to see what the store looks like and what its layout is and what their business process is. I want to see how they interact with customers. Because if I can enable them to continue that interaction with customers in the interactive domain and even extend it further, then I can really help their business. If there's nothing that I can really help them do, and they're not interested in social engagement, I'll even tell them, frankly, you can spend a lot of money doing this, or you can go to WordPress.com and do this for free for yourself. Because sometimes, somebody has to wrap their mind around it. And sometimes by doing that and sending them to say, hey, go try this, they'll realize this is a thing that they're not interested in at all. But they'll start to think about what the possibilities are. Now, oftentimes, people can't judge the possibilities because they've never done it before, so they have no clue. So that's really where, once you've analyzed their business, that's where you step in and start giving them advice about how to do things. Some of it might be, well, I see a business process issue that's going on. Like, for instance, I'm working with a grocery store right now, and one of their biggest problems, like, they use Square as a payment method to accept credit cards. And the guy does it just on his iPod right now. And he's older. He's having a hard time seeing little digits on the phone, right? So just yesterday, we went and ordered him a new iPad and a Square stand, which is, the iPad fits, and it's almost like a little cash register slot, and it's got a little card slot on it already, and you just leave it in there, and then you run the business through that thing. And it also connects to the Square store, because he's a Square merchant, and that's what he wants to stay. So like we talked about OpenCart and other things for selling stuff online. Well, there's no API for connecting Square that way. You have to either do it through the Square Reader, which is built into the stand, or the little add-on you snap into the headphone jack in your phone that you can accept the credit card. But Square started this thing kind of like Big Cartel or Shopify, where you can go get a cart and sell stuff online without a lot of heavy lifting. So Square started doing this because they realized these merchants want to do some of this as well. And so we were just talking about yesterday was, he's wanted to do the Square store for a while. We finally got him to give us his info so we could set it up for him. That was a little bit of a hurdle in the first place. And then secondarily, we started talking about the Square Stand and the iPad and all those kind of things. And there's another Square app called Square Register, which from the iPad in the stand at the store, you can see everything that's in your Square store as well. So one of the things that he can do, and we were talking about this, is taking his inventory and putting it into the Square store. It'll be there on the iPad in the store, and he can go, 2 of these, 2 of those, 2 of these, calculate the total. Because what he does right now is he goes and he's got a notepad and he writes down these 3 things and totals them up, comes up with a total and says your total is $12.50. That's the only thing that goes into Square. That somebody made a purchase, it was $12.50. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing about tracking inventory and things, so it's still a manual process. So one of the things that I saw with a client like that was I can see how all these things can kind of fit together. And I know that that's something that a lot of people don't see. So I'm really kind of starting to leverage that to say, it's more than just a website. This is your business. You have to think of it as more than just, I need a web page or I need a Facebook page, right? Because, I mean, that's just about a place where people can respond to you and say, I like something, and you can post something. But frankly, if you're not in a place where people are paying attention, it doesn't matter. You know, you could have all that set up and nobody could come see your business, and they don't care. So I've kind of found this, in addition to the niche I was already working in, I found a secondary niche. Sorry, I have to flip that. Somebody keeps calling me this time of day. So I found the secondary niche of giving people business advice and steering them to products and solutions that can actually help them. So I kind of look at it as, you know, when you start the creative process, some of it is, I had a girlfriend one time that said this, and I think she said it better than anybody else. When you first kind of meet somebody, you know, when 2 dogs first meet each other, they have what they call the initial butt sniffing phase where they want to check each other out. Mm-hmm. Well, people are the same way. We do the exact same thing. So when you go to meet somebody the first time, it's kind of one of those things, kind of trying to feel each other out and see what you do. And that's really the moment where you figure out if somebody's interested in doing something or not. I know I've told you about the choke test before, where, you know, when somebody says, well, how much is this going to cost me? And you give them a number, and if they swallow really hard, they're either don't have the money or they don't want to spend it. But if they go, okay, no problem, then they're ready to go. You know, it's like, and I started thinking about like the, you know, like the Square processing and stuff like that, because I started using it with clients in business meetings. Somebody would, you know, have a meeting with them, and they would come in and they'd say, oh, this is going to sound great. Yeah, I really want to do that. Okay, so here's what I need to get started. And they go, oh, I don't have my checkbook with me. So I go, hold on a second, pull up my phone, snap the card reader, and go, I can take your credit card right now. That's kind of an extension of the choke test. If they go, oh, I'm not, don't do anything. You got to let them do their part first. So what it kind of did for me was I found that I was able to eliminate some of those people who were just shopping around to try to see what they can get for nothing. Those people drive me nuts, because they, you know, they kind of look at what we do and say it's not worth anything. There's no value to it, and they're not right. There is value to everything we do. That's why we're here, because we're trying to add value to those people.